Today you join me back on with the Opel Manta restoration project on this very wet day here at Retro Restoration Garage HQ. So what do we have in store for this one today, guys? Well, to start with, I have now got a new cam position sensor and a new crank position sensor, just to eliminate a couple of things. I've also took delivery of a replacement throttle body and some new copper fuel pipe, so we're going to be running new fuel lines in, looking at the fuel pump, make sure that's all good, and the fuel filter, we'll probably put a new fuel filter and pump on this car. If you did watch the last episode, you'll have seen we've been having issues with this. When I got it, it wasn't actually running at all. We now have it running, but it isn't running very well. Again, please do go back to the previous video to get you up to speed with this project. So we're just going to go through this as a bit of a process of elimination, really. As I've already explained, this car is running SimTech standalone management, and I don't actually have the software or the lead to be able to plug this in, so I'm kind of going into this blind, guys. I can't plug it in, I can't get any diagnostics out of this for the reasons I've just explained. So it is just a process of elimination. We're going to start with some of these bits and bobs which I've already mentioned. We've already done the basics on a previous video, check for spark, check for fuel and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to swap out the throttle body, change these fuel lines, cam and crank sensor, see where we get to, see if we can get this running, you know, somewhat near as damn it. And then if we do, and we actually get this thing running, we might even try and take it up the yard on this episode and see if this thing will actually drive, because at this point we don't even know if this clutch works, we don't know if it selects gears, we've not actually tried to drive this car yet. So hopefully on this episode we'll actually get this running to the point where we can get it outside and get it up and down the yard and see what sort of power it's got and see if it does actually run and drive as it should. So let's get to it, guys. I think we're going to start with the crank sensor, then we'll move our way into the cam sensor and then work backwards, rip all these old fuel lines out, get to the fuel pump and start running all these new fuel pipes and everything, and then probably come back and get this throttle body done later on into the episode. So stay tuned, guys. Fingers crossed this actually works today and we can get this outside and give it a run. So I do need to apologise at this point, guys. I did forget to press record on my camera and we did lose a little bit of footage. At this point I did find some really dodgy wiring on the cam sensor, which is the plug you can see dangling down there now. So I do apologise for that, guys, but let's get back into it and take it from here. Holy moly. Wow. That's just falling apart in your hands. Stay like that, guys. It's just absolute garbage, that is. So let's open this up, let's get some solder on it. So the brand new strap-on, brand new strap-on soldering iron actually comes with no gas in, so thank you very much for that. And now to borrow one from next door, which is battery powered. One of them, can't say the name, but you know what I mean. So we'll give this one a whirl. our repaired wire. Miles better than it was. Miles better than it was. So now we can replace our cam sensor and see if that makes any difference. To get to this cam position sensor, I've just got to pop this top cam cover off. Should then allow us access to the bolt which holds the sensor. Right, so cover off, and there's just one little bolt you can just about see. It's just above that bolt actually. It's actually a E8 Torx socket. Pop that in there, slapping that off. A bit of luck, should. Do not drop this into a timing chain. Let's offer this up. It's R1. That looks spot on. Pop that back in. Like so. There. Now this is quite delicate because the last thing I want to do is drop this bolt into my timing belt. There we go, she's in. Right, so with that new cam sensor in, we can now pop our cover back on. Plug back on. There we go. That is a much better fit. We are going to get these fuel pipes replaced. If you remember, under there we have some very, very skinny copper fuel pipes. So they are only about 6mm. So I'm going to take those out and I'm going to replace those with some 8mm copper pipe and some proper Codan R9 rubber fuel holes. I'm going to try and find a better or new fuel pump as well, and I do have a new filter. So we will be changing that fuel pump, changing that filter. There's also an inline filter just under here, bear with me one sec. So there is this inline filter there, and I think I'm going to do away with that because I think that is going to be quite restrictive. There is a filter at the back, so I don't particularly think it needs this one at the front as well. That is just going to cause a restriction in the flow of the fuel what's getting to this engine, so we will be piping that out. Hopefully once we've done that, I have took delivery of a new throttle body, so hopefully we should get around to replacing that throttle body as well for a new one. Well, it's a brand new second-hand one but yeah, we've got one that works. It's a known working one basically, so we can change it out and eliminate that problem. And we are going to get into some wiring issues as well that I've seen. There is some quite funky wiring, to say the least, on this car, so we are going to be sorting that wiring out as well, and hopefully by the end of this episode we should be able to get this car running a lot better than it is. Right, so I'm going to start with taking all this junk out. We'll get this whole filter disconnected. We're going to remove all this rubber piping because we will be replacing this. This is only some cheap nasty, I don't even know if it's R6, could be R6 hose. What does it say on it? Yeah, R6. It's R6 hose. We're going to be changing this for R9, which is a better spec. Let's whip all this stuff out and then we'll rip all the copper out and work our way backwards to the fuel pump. definitely a good job of changing these, because I've literally just touched that fuel pipe down there and you can see it's leaking already. So yeah, not good. You can actually hear the fuel dripping on the floor. So yeah, definitely a good job of pulling these out. There's one piece out. The other piece out. And there is our return pipe removed in the bin. So because we've got too many cars in the unit, I can't actually get this whole car over the pit, so I am going to have to jack the back end up, get some stands under it just so I can get underneath the back to disconnect the fuel pump and everything. I can get to the majority of the pipes, like 3/4 of it, but there is just this last little bit at the back where I can't access it because I can't push the car forward enough over the pit because we've got a unit full. So yeah, I'll get the jack under the back, lift this back end up, get it on stands. Right, so I've chopped the fuel pipes there, and I've just got the fuel tank currently draining into a drum. I'm going to let this drain out completely before I go any further, so I'm just going to let this do its thing for the next 10 or 15 minutes, and then I can start to rip out the rest of these fuel pipes. Right, so there is all our old fuel pipage out. I've also removed this off the fuel pump setup. This is an old fuel suppressor. These are no longer required. I mean, these are just, it's that rusty. I wouldn't trust that not to leak. And they do become restrictive inside as well. And this pipe is just turning to mush. Look at that in there. Ooh. Yeah, we caught this at the right time. So that's not good. We'll do away with that. We don't need it. And I'll give you an example of the difference between the fuel pipes we took out and the fuel pipes we're putting in. So this is the stuff that's come out, and that's the stuff we are putting in. See the size difference there, guys. Doesn't look all that much on the camera, but trust me, there is a lot of difference in that, and that extra couple of mil will make all the difference for the fuel flow, fuel delivery. So start to route that new stuff in now. I've got everything out, stripped out, all the old system is now gone. I'm going to have to feed this in from the back to the front, and to do that I've also had to drop the rear axle cross member off and drop it down slightly, just to give me a little bit more room between the floor of the car and where the fuel pipes are going between the axle, basically, just so I'm not having to kink the pipes quite sharply to get it between the floor and that cross member. So obviously I don't want any kinks in these pipes, so that is the next job. I'm going to start to run these new fuel lines down the car. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it should go well. Right, so that is our new fuel pipes ran down. There's a bit of an awkward one the way these are routed, because you've got to go around these seat brackets and stuff. Now these do need a little bit of tidying up. Not the neatest set of fuel lines I've ever done, but they are in, and they are bigger and stronger, and will have better flow than the old ones. So they go all the way up to the pump, all the way down here. I do need to sleeve them through these holes yet. We'll be putting some rubber sleeves down the pipe to stop them chafing where they go through the chassis legs, all the way down here and all the way up into the inner wing. So now that is in, I'm going to work my way to the back of the car and start piping the fuel pump back up. Right, so that is all our fuel pipes now in. We've run the copper pipes all the way from the back of the car up into this inner wing, and then we've used the Codan R9 from the copper pipe in the inner wing to the fuel return, and then the copper pipe on the other side of the inner wing onto the fuel in. And then we've also used the Codan R9 hose on the fuel pump from the tank to the pump, and the connecting pipes between the pump and the filter and all that sort of stuff. So that is all now done. We've done away with that inline filter, as we said. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to change this throttle body for the replacement one that I've got. Pop that on, that shouldn't take too long, and then I just need to nip to the fuel station, a couple of cans of fresh fuel, drop it in the car, and then we'll go and see if it'll actually start up again. So here we have our replacement throttle body. So this is the one that's come off the car. This is our replacement one. As you can see, that one does look quite a lot cleaner, looks a little bit newer. Now, it is a used one. I have actually looked for a replacement new part and I can't find one anywhere. I've even tried Vauxhall, and Vauxhall have told me that they've discontinued it, so this is what we are working with. So I'm just going to put this O-ring on there, because this one has come without an O-ring, so I've took the O-ring out the old one, put this in the new one. Let's get it back on the car. See, it looks nice and clean inside this one as well, compared to our old one, which is quite gunked up. So hopefully this makes a difference. It might not, but at least we've ruled out another problem. So I just noticed something. Now this pipe was what was on from the throttle body, which is then teed into the cam box. This pipe, I can actually go both ways with that, so I can suck through it and blow down it. Whereas this one, I can only suck on it, but I can't blow down it. So obviously that is a one-way battle, so I'm guessing that is there for a reason. So that might not have been helping things. So I'm going to disregard that. From this one, let's come on the new throttle body directly into here. Right, all that's left now, put some fuel in it, prime the pump up, see if it'll fire. Oh, I have blew down these fuel lines as well. Make sure there was no crap in them. So right, so that's one can in. Before I go any further, I'm going to check that we don't have any leaks before I drop the second can in the tank. So far so good. I must be the only person that has a nice, lovely big unit to work in, but still manages to get absolutely drenched working on a car. The rain is absolutely tipping it down here. The camera's not really doing it justice. Absolutely bounced it down all day. I've got water coming in the unit, and I've been lay under here, under the back of this car, in a puddle with my legs hanging out the door. So I'm soaked to the socks, but anyway, pop this cap back on. What we're going to do now is reconnect the battery up, and then we'll fire the fuel pump up, get a bit of pressure going around the system, check for any leaks before we go for the first start up with the new pump and the new throttle body. Right, let's give it a whirl. Warm up for a little bit, and then we'll see if it'll actually rev now with that throttle body change and a better fuel delivery system. Right, it's warmed up a little bit, let's see if it'll rev. It seems to be running a hell of a lot better. It's definitely smells quite rich, quite fuely, but what we're saying, do we give it a razz up and down the yard in this weather? Yeah, let's do it, why not? So we attempted a test drive, and as you've seen, it didn't really go to plan. It was still missing, but it's revving absolutely mint now when it's stationary. So I think now it's something to do with this manifold pressure sensor, this map sensor. When I have this plugged in still, the car still won't tick over, won't run very well at all. If I unplug this, it revs absolutely brilliant now with that new throttle body and those new fuel lines. It'll rev while it's stationary absolutely perfectly. As soon as I set off down the yard, it's like it's getting a boost cut. So I'm assuming it's because it's not seeing a manifold pressure. It's going to sort of cut the boost or cut the fuel. That's my thoughts at this point. So I have ordered a new map sensor. That should be coming in the next couple of days, so that will be one of the next things we'll try, to get that map sensor on. Hopefully that will cure our issues. Once we know it runs and drives fine, then we can start really going into this car and tidying all this messy stuff up, possibly get rid of this yellow horrible stuff that's going on here. I know some of you guys like this, and I have seen your feedback with a lot of the comments on the last video. We got tons and tons of comments, and I think the overall feel is that we do ditch these stickers, but potentially keep the wheels and just put some better tyres on there. Maybe paint the centres into a different colour. But there's loads and loads of stuff that we need to do on this car yet. We've got them fuel pipes in, so that is at least that job ticks off a list. Now I did want to put a new fuel pump and a new filter on, as I said earlier. However, I did forget that we actually used it on the i200 last week. So yes, I have had to use the old pump and the old filter, but that is something we can come back to. And to be honest, I'm not entirely happy with the wiring to the pump either, so I do need to go back and sort that wiring out, fit a new fuel filter and a new fuel pump, just to iron out any potential issues with those. I've noted that only about 30% of you guys that are viewing the videos are actually subscribed to the channel. So once you've watched this video, if you do like it, please do give us a thumbs up, and please do consider subscribing to the channel if you do like this video and you do like these projects that we're doing. It really does help with the channel to grow, and it really does help push the videos and reach a wider audience. As always, we appreciate all the comments, all the support that we've had, and all the information we've had from you guys in the comments. It's been a massive help. I've also heard that there's a thing called a hype button. I'm not entirely sure how this hype button works or how you press it, but I am told it is a thing, and it does help to push the videos out, and it does help with the algorithm. So again, if you do know how to use that hype button, guys, please do hype this video. So I think I'm going to leave this one here, guys. I'm absolutely soaked to the socks. I've got water absolutely gushing in my unit. It's dribbling all down the steps and starting to fill the pit up, so I need to get this door down. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. If you do, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you all on the next video.